We back.
Yo,
This is the Flight Show.
Yo.
We got a special guest. Introduce yourself, bro.
What's up? It's Pyrolucain. I'm saying on the Flight Show. I'm saying with my guy James.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me and
You
bro
know?
go back since like shit 08, like 08, 09.
Yeah, junior year.
Yeah, junior year he was at Cross. I was at Co-op. Niggas just linked up on some sneaker shit. Toads. Niggas used to hit all the Toads concerts, all that shit.
And then once we hit college together, that was it.
Oh
we
yeah.
was getting like how we just talking off camera, like we was getting everything. We came through campus, and I'm saying with the pearl foams on, it was just me, you and Peas. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people was looking at us like we was some aliens or something. Like what the hell y'all got on? And then few months later, you see the whole student center with foams on and shit. So
yeah, the sneaker game was different back then. But yeah, bro, glad to have you on.
Thank you.
Just want to
bro.
tap in. Let everybody know, if they don't already know, you know what you do, and you know how long you've been doing this music shit, and yeah, we go from there.
So once again, I'm Pyrolucain. You know what I'm saying? I'm originally from Albany, New York, but I ended up moving to CT in 2005. You know what I'm saying? So but really, you know, for those who don't know, I'm a producer first, and I actually just now got back into the rapping. So I want to say last year I dropped my first EP as a rapper called Move Without Warning. And then now fast forward, you know what I'm saying, like pretty much coming up on a year later, I'm actually on my third EP, which is called Never Get Comfortable, which dropped March 22nd. Well, it was supposed to drop on March 22nd, but it was some difficulties happening, but it ended up dropping on March 24th. But the original date was March 22nd, but it's out now. It's everywhere. That's What She Say is the leading single, along with the second leading single called Nautical Expansion, featuring Waisha Essence, which is an artist from the Firehouse Music Group Camp, which is my label. So you know,
That's what's up.
Word.
Yeah.
So what's
definitely.
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What when you were growing up, you grew up in Albany?
Yeah.
So-
I came here when I was 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
like high school-ish kind of
I
era?
was going
middle school?
8th grade.
8th grade, okay.
8th grade, yeah.
So like music-wise, did you always, like when you were younger, was it like you always fucked with music heavy and you knew you like wanted to be in the industry in general? Or is it some kind of like over a period of time you kind of just grew yourself into and being like, all right, let me just try this out, I can see if I fuck with it or not?
To be honest, like music was always in the blood. Like now that I think back, now that I'm like a full adult now, like, you know what I'm saying, well, halfway to being a full adult. but it's always been around. Like, you know, my mom's, she's like originally, my mom's from Queens. So, you know, anyone who knows about like, you know, like the culture, like, you know, like in Queens, especially like the black culture, especially in like the 70s, is a lot of music driven and, you know, things of that nature. It was a lot of good things coming out of Queens, South Jamaica to be exact. So, and then also like with her playing the piano, African dancing. So, and her just loving music. And then years later, when I came along, it was just like, you know, it just ended up being
Incorporated into that, yeah.
And then also just being around the crib, like just actually living with my mother, my father, and my older brother, because my older brother he actually went to high school through the 90s. So I was catching all that heat, plus like my father's stuff, and on top of that, plus like my mom's. So they never shared like, you know, CDs and stuff like that. They had their own collection. Like my mom was a mixtape queen, and my dad was the album king.
That's fire.
So it's like he had all the albums, my mom's had all the mixtapes, especially like the R&B stuff, and like, you know, especially like a lot of the blend tapes. She's heavy on the blends. So, and also too with having like, you know, a family that was actually inside the music business. Like my uncle had a label.
Word.
So, you know, with, you know, just seeing all of that growing up and being in the studio and going to little shows and things of that nature, like being like a little roadie, not supposed to be in certain spots, but I'm seeing all these things go down. And I knew at one point, like I was gonna end up making a conscious decision to get into hip hop. Like at a certain point.
That's fire, because with one thing with music is like type of art that it drastically changes over a period of time.
Yeah.
So like with your mom being exposed to the stuff like that, and then your brother and your dad, you kind of seeing different types of music, different styles of music.
Yeah.
That's fire to be, you know, because nowadays people really. The problem is people really get focused on kind of one genre of music and kind of get stuck on that. Yeah. So like seeing you be around those different type of music, you know, it's fire.
And my father loved jazz too. Like he was a hip hop head, you know, but his main genre of choice is jazz. So, you know, I heard like a lot of, you know, Coltrane going, you know, growing up, Miles Davis, you know, things of that nature. I'm just naming a few, but I heard a lot growing up, you know what I'm saying? Mixed with the old school hip hop, mixed with the current hip hop at that time, because I'm growing up through a lot of these pivotal moments in hip hop through the 90s.
And like you say, especially for black artists as well.
Yeah, so it's a lot of things going on, yeah.
The 90s, just us growing up in the 90s, like, it was different. Like, my dad was, like, big on Eminem, and that was, like, the first time, like, to be honest, from the outside looking in, that was like the first time seeing like a white rapper that was like
dominating.
Like he was like, Eminem was him. At like a certain point, he had like a run where nobody was really fucking with him, like, and he was at the top of the game. And then he was fucking with Dr. Dre, so it just kind of like it was
it also perpetuated what's kind of going on now, as far as like the shock value and everything, but he has everything along with it, the bars, the concepts, like he coming at it from a different perspective. Like, you know, us, you know, being African Americans, like we actually may not really connect to what he's talking about, but he could definitely spit that shit. Like he's down hard one of us. And also before we even go further, yo, rest in peace, yo, to your peoples, Chucky.
Yeah,
Thompson.
my cousin Chucky Thompson. He was a producer. He was a producer with Diddy, and who else was the other 5 producers?
It was him, Stevie J, Nasheem Myrick. It was in D-Dot. Yeah. There was a part of the Hitmen. It was one more, but the main was Stevie J, Chucky, Nasheem Myrick. And who else did I say? Oh, D-Dot. So I'm missing one more, but yeah.
But that was like Diddy era, like to catch him up, you know, because that's kind of more like our era, 90s. But like that was like when Diddy was basically growing Bad Boy. So like he got 5 producers, and then he had Mary J. He had who else did he have at that time? Mace. Yeah, he had.
There was like the Hitman was doing a lot of work, especially around it. Like I want to say
Faith Evans.
Yeah, Faith. Yeah. See now, once you start talking about his cousin Chucky Thompson, like it's a whole different ball game for everybody who's watching. Any music lovers, please look up his name. Yeah, like because he's really a part of all of the songs that we sing today. Like for real.
Yeah, he produced a lot of like beats for like classics.
Like
fire.
Yeah, all probably I want to say like all of the hard R&B, like down hard classics that, you know, people like
still sing to this day.
He's like
incorporating that shit.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah, he's the guy. So
like your parents know, obviously they're West Coast, but like all the East Coast hot shit, like he was on it.
Yeah, he was.
You feel me? So like, obviously, you know, you got West Coast, Tupac, Snoop, you know, everybody over there that like your dad and mom like came up on. But like as far as like East Coast, like with his family being from like Queens, like he said, like New York, like that was it. You know what I'm saying? Like 90s music in New York was like it.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. It was a lot of different styles. It was like nothing was like, when I say this, like nothing was sticking. It wasn't. And it's not in a bad way. Because it was competition. It was like, oh, he just dropped this. Oh, I'm about to come back with something. That's why the music was so good. I feel like because there was a lot of competition. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody going back like, oh, he did this. Oh, I'm about to come back with it. That's why it's so many.
It was like neck and neck.
It was. Yeah, because it's like, okay, they're like, dang, well, he was nice. Well, he had this. It's always, that's why, like, when it comes to 90s rap, like, as a whole, just, like, it's always a debate within that realm within itself. Because now, as many nice people as it was just as much as whack people too. But as far as the culture of what it did,
as a whole,
it's kind of, that's what made it dope. Similar to like now in a sense, just with like everybody having their own styles and being different. But back then it was competitive.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays my generation music
you was
is not.
Talking about that. Yeah, me and Tyler talked about that, like how like rap back then it was like more about bars.
Yeah,
and originality. You know, originality, what you're saying, flow, all that. Now it's more like about catching a vibe
and what you
know
wearing,
what I mean? What you wearing,
what you do outside the music,
what you got.
So it was just a different era where like the way dudes bark now is more they're like flashing and boasting, where back then they was telling you like, nah, I'm really about that.
I'm really about that. Like,
you know what I mean?
And let me ask you this, Art, because I heard you produce first, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been producing for?
I've been producing overall for 15, 16 years.
Okay, so he's been. Yeah. Have you seen over those 15, 16 years a drastic change in producers in general?
Oh yeah. I seen on how they market themselves, on actually what they're doing to get placements and things of that nature, and how a lot of producers are still relying on the game, and the game is showing you like, you really can't rely on I mean, don't get me wrong, you can, but it's gonna be slow. So with all the things that's going on right now with like branding yourself and all that, like with like a producer now, like you really have to step out to like really to be an artist, to really make some noise, be like, hey, come over here. So at first I was actually rapping first before
producing.
Yeah, I was rapping first.
Okay.
But my man's Hugh Better, like I was in his basement one night, and then we mind you, me and him played on the football team together. We went to school together. Me and him was doing music, and he was making a beat. I'm like, yo, bro, how do you make beats? Mind you, I already have older cousins that's already like producing already, but they're in Albany. I'm here, dolo, with no family, no nothing. I'm just making new friends so I'm still in high school. So he's like, yo, bro, the best thing I could tell you is that it's just a feeling. You just make what you want to make. Now we 16. I'm like, all right. but now it's different. But now kids don't even ask. You just go on YouTube.
Yeah.
You want to learn something? Yo, how to make it wasn't none of that.
That's true.
So I had to sit and watch, bro, literally, and mimic what he did and try to think about what I like to hear.
And that's crazy because, like you said, nowadays with the younger producers, not to say they're not as creative, but it's easier for them to, how do I do this? How do I do that? And then the problem with that is that you may, with that, you might have a problem with just imitation in general. Yeah. So like when you were doing it, it was more of, okay, I gotta learn this shit on my own. Yeah. How am I gonna do this? And then you go over a period of time, you get better at it, versus nowadays it's faster, the internet's faster. Yeah. So you may have a little, like nowadays they might imitate a little bit more to who they're watching versus a little bit more creative Brack style.
Yeah. And there's so many beats and so many like styles. Yeah. Like we've heard so much music. Like he said he's been doing this 15, 16 years. So like just how the sound has changed since then, and like how many people duplicate the same shit, and then how much like artists have changed over that time too. It's like it's a lot. So, you know, definitely salute bro for like tapping into his craft and still making sure that his sound is separate from what everybody else doing.
A million
you know what I mean?
Respect
like,
that.
You know what I'm saying? Like he'll tell you, like, we was in a summer program together, and whenever we not doing homework or running around the hallways bugging, I'm in my room making beats. Like I'm in my room making beats, like off this little ass computer. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was making it happen though. Yeah. Like making it happen. You know what I'm saying? It's still the same thing. Like, but now it's a little bit different because I'm focusing on the money now. I'm focusing on the brand. I'm focusing on like, you know, like
expansion.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, definitely. Like, and so I have a daughter now. So you know, so things is a little bit different now than from what it was back then. Like the mission is still the same. But the overall goal is bigger now. It's bigger now because there's more people that's
incorporated and stuff like that. That's what's up.
The shit was crazy because when we was at Southern and I was messing with music a little bit and I did a mixtape, bro. Like all the beats came from bro. Like shit crazy. He probably don't remember. He was selling me beats for $30.
Damn.
Like every Friday I give him like 60, 90. Like I need like 2-3 more beats.
That's a fact.
And then eventually bro started hearing like what I was trying to do, and then the beats started matching what I was trying to do. Feel me? So at first I was just getting beats from him trying to figure it out, and then he was like, nah, James gonna do this on that, and then he was cooking shit up specifically for me.
That's what's up.
So it made everything come together like even better.
Bro, not a lot of people give like credit to producers, bro. That's a lot of shit.
Real
like
superpower.
People like there's a lot of it in like rapping and singing, but it's just as amount as that in the producing too, because you still got to incorporate different type of instruments, sounds, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
But you know what though? That actually comes from me listening to, you know, music throughout the 90s, and me, like, you know, recording stuff off the radio and listening to people like, you know, like his cousin Chucky Thompson, who actually worked with Biggie, but end up on a Faith song. Like, it's two different things. Like,
and playing instruments too. Because my cousin knew how to play like 6 or 7 different instruments.
He's playing. So you hear these songs, he's playing all that.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's no, he's playing that.
Because this was like the era like where people were still using computers and beat pads and stuff like that. But this was the era where like, oh, I want a guitar. You gotta play the guitar.
Yeah,
you have to replay the notes.
His era was all analog. Like, you had to know what you're doing.
Damn.
It wasn't no FL Studio yet. It wasn't no Logic yet. It was just all the MPC and the records that you were sampling, or if you had like a mixing board and you had it hooked up to the MPC with your instrument, you was playing it to the beat that you made, and you're playing it like that, and you recorded off tape.
And if you couldn't even play it, I'm assuming you couldn't even play it nice enough.
Yeah.
You have to find someone nice enough to
too.
play it too, and then record them. So
That-
that's crazy.
So then if you think about like that whole process, like where you would make just that one guitar part right there, you have to listen to that part by itself.
Yeah.
Where now you can add a drum, add a bass, and you can hear it together and progress.
Exactly.
You couldn't even do that back then. You had to
Yeah.
record everything individually, then put it together and see how it sounds, and then probably go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where now, like, it's basically, I'm not going to say it's easy because I know it's not, but it's easier.
It's way
because
easier.
you could just use technology. Oh, I like this sound. Oh, I'm going to add this bass
Delete,
here.
cut, like,
I'm going to add
like
this.
So,
Control X.
So let me ask you this: since
Yeah.
it's like you don't have to go through that many obstacles, do you think that the production of music has increased over a period of time, 100%? Just since you're able to use a computer where you can add drums and bass versus actually making the sound, or do you think it's kind of the same and stagnant?
Nah, it's like, to be completely honest, it's all right. The art of making music is not stagnant, because now we have AIs to where they can make a beat for you. I don't like that because I come from doing it, you know, all
Manually.
manually. But as far as getting in the business, kind of like as far as getting a deal, is actually got a little bit harder because it's a lot more being manufactured.
Oh, okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the window used to be this big because you know why? Because it wasn't the internet. Like that. So now now it's a whole bunch of information now that you're privy to now. So now everything's accessible. So now the window gets closed like this because everyone's doing it now. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword to where it's bad and it's good.
Okay.
So now, right? So, like, you know, just like he said, where I started from. Now I'm looking at as far as like I don't want a deal. Like, we could work together because I have my own label. I got my own production company with my artists that I'm about to put out. Like, so the only thing that I would need is more, like, whatever more reach you have, we could come work together. We could come together as equal, but I'm not gonna be under you and I gotta wait and we're not doing that.
How do you think? Like, what do you think about the some of the networks? I'll be seeing sometimes how like these networks be not controlling, but like they really own most of the artists, like everything, their music, everything. So like, what's your like pinpoint, like in perspective on that type of stuff? Because since you own your own network,
that's always been a thing. But as far as like, I feel like this, right? Just because you own your own network, that doesn't mean it makes it easier. It makes it harder. But the thing for me is like, I like to work. So it's like, if you're constantly doing stuff, like, you know, things is gonna naturally just happen. You know what I'm saying? So like, I like it because I now can create my own leverage because y'all are not giving me nothing like You know what I'm saying? I can actually go to the source, to these people that you're going to try to promote me to or whatever. I could go there myself and cut them a check. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I could go to certain pieces and like places, a lot of places, and do things on my own. I just need y'all stamp the name. That's it. To like, oh, he's the real deal. Versus me coming in just with Firehouse Music Group. It's like, all right, Firehouse Music Group / Atlantic. Oh, okay. Like, and he's doing stuff, and he's active with that going on by himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's so, fire. Well, not only by myself, but with my team. So, you know, but it's just us. So, you know, we don't gotta worry about that. You know what I'm saying? We're just more so worried about who, where, like, what's the best fit for us to where we can expand. That's it. Where we at right now? We're just building.
Word.
So.
Nah, definitely. And I wanted to ask you, like, like. Obviously, you've been doing this for a minute, and obviously you progress over time. You formed a team, you formed your own, you know, brand, your own thing. Like, what's the steps as far as like what you were saying? Where now, like, all right, how do we really get to the bread? Yeah. Because like obviously we know you could sell beats individually. You could sell beats to, you know, Atlantic or whoever. Yeah. You could sell beats directly to artists. But like with your own label, how are you, like, what are some of the types of, like, the steps that you have to take to, like, all right, now we're trying to get everything on our own?
Really, like the biggest step is to have everything in house. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say everything in-house, like, so when you say, I'm talking about the bread, so I've, you know, got basically recently, got into the fashion, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, basically, like, have my own merch. And things of that nature. So it's like, there's a whole bunch of other things to me besides music. That's just the main slice of the cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I could duck off music for a year and mess with the fashion. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not really mess with as far as, like, oh, it's just a thing. Like, I'm really into it. Like, James could tell you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we spent hours talking about, like, things that are popular now. We was talking about these things 12 years ago. Like, all these things that's just now a thing. Like, if you see some of our old pictures, we're probably rocking some things that's popular right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so one of the things I tapped into as far as like for the monetization aspect of it is the merch. Because other than the music, people look to me for clothes. Because people be DMing me like, yo, where'd you get this from? Where'd you get that from? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Let me just dive into the merch.
And now when you say merch as in your own label with your network and stuff like that, or like just clothing line.
I'm sorry. Yes. Clothing line. Underground Icon and Not for the Algorithm.
Because me and James a couple episodes ago, we were talking how big merch is in general. Yeah. Like, you basically saying how, for instance, for Flight Vintage in general, you have Flight Vintage, but then you also have Flight merch and other stuff like that. So same idea where, you know, merch is big, and now people are really understanding that. More resale shops or other networks nowadays just focus on just the general merchandise instead of expanding the whole business itself.
I actually, and it's crazy because I actually have two lines. The actual first line is Underground Icon. Okay. So that's like, you know, that's like the H&M style type of, you know, streetwear type of situation. And when it comes to Not for the Algorithm, that's for my music. So, you know, notforthealgorithm.com coming soon, which is actually gonna have all the music up there when, like, you know, on CD or tape or vinyl. It's gonna have, like, you know, I'm gonna have hard copies, for my music and all that, plus the merch. So, you know, Not for the Algorithm is for the music, and Underground Icon is for the everyday person. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I got two lines.
Merch is big. That's what's up.
Nah, definitely. And to add on that, like, just because me and you talk about this all the time, like, a lot of people jump into merch, but it's really branding. You know what I mean? It's really just branding, because you don't want to limit yourself to, like, just the music and just the merch. Yeah. You know what I mean? You want it to be a brand.
That's exactly
You know what I'm saying? So, like, you literally, like, we talk about this all the time, like, even with, like, what we do, like, Flight Vintage is the LLC, but, like, now people just say Flight. Because it ain't just labeled, like, obviously we do vintage, we do a little bit of streetwear, we do everything. Our own merch, we do women's, we do a little bit of everything. We do the podcast now, so it's more of a brand than just, like, one thing. And I think that's big because a lot of people, whatever you're doing, whether it's music, you know what I mean, fashion, whatever, you don't want to be like labeled as just one thing, like one genre, like, oh, they only do this or they only do that. It's like, nah, this is a empire, this is a brand.
Because the biggest thing with that is too, like, is like everyone's different. So like theoretically, some people may like our pod heavily, but then they cannot be a big fan of just vintage in general. So it's good to touch different types of people. For your instance, hypothetically, for your label and your brand, they may like your merch, but maybe they don't listen to music that much. Yeah, so you still touch.
Exactly.
You're touching more people.
It allows you to be relevant, like, overall, because at the end of the day, this is all about longevity.
Right.
A lot of you, like you said, you've been doing this for 16 years now. You know what I mean? We've been doing this, at least with the shop, for like probably 10, 12, and then the shop opened 6. But like, it's a brand. Like, you don't get to 5+ years if it's just one thing.
Right.
Because trends and shit fade out. Shit gets corny, shit goes away, shit comes back. Like, obviously people know us for vintage, but, you know, in 5 years from now, maybe vintage is not popping, but they still gonna know the name Flight. It may be just a Flight show. The pod may just be going crazy, or it may be just the merch going crazy, but it's still gonna be, you're still gonna remember the name. You know what I mean? And that's how you last 10, 15, 20 years in the game.
Yeah, that's all it is for me, is really touching as many areas and avenues as possible. Because back when we was in college, we used to always talk like not being labeled or pigeonholed for like one thing. That's why like my name Pyrolucain is just I could be anything. Like that's why I actually dropped the beats from my name. Like, for all the ones who don't know that, like, I used to be Beats by Pyro or A Beats, but it came to a point at the fork in the road where I was like it's gonna be a time where I'm not gonna want to produce all the time. And I thought about this early, before all of this. So, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's, you know, Pyro, and I was like, damn, what's like what could be something? And shout out to the bro Bugatti 203, because I don't remember, me and James used to cop kicks a month early, 2 months, 2 weeks early. So he was at the studio work. We was working on his project, and then he was like, yo, he said it on a rap. He was like, yo, my nigga, he was like, my nigga Pyrolucain always keeps the fire on the feet. Now, mind you, I hated it at first. I hated, like, yo, this nigga always called me. I'm like, damn. But it worked. Because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it. Because you don't know what I am. I could be a rapper. I could be a fashion designer. I could be a DJ. I could be, you don't know.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So
it's a universal name.
Exactly. So it's not like a dead give, like, oh, that nigga makes beats. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see, like, I'm on everything. Like I literally design my own clothes. I press my own clothes. I write lyrics, engineer, mix, master, shoot videos. What else? Produce. Like, that's 9 things. That's 8, 9 things. So, you know what I mean? So with a name, with beats or something like that, that's fine if that's what you want to be labeled. That's fine. I'm not saying, like, you know, you don't gotta have beats in your name or whatever, but I knew for the longevity, I knew that I was gonna get pigeonholed at some point. So I was like, nah, I gotta kick this out early. So that was one of the things. And also too, with me being a rapper again was basically me not waiting on the game to tell me if my beats were dope or not. I'm not gonna wait on a fake ass A&R who be in the club with niggas trying to bust it up and take pics with niggas acting like they doing something, tell me my shit not dope when nigga, you don't even got nothing going on. You're not doing nothing. You just at the job. You was at the job for a check and hoping you get a hit. When they just gonna take that off your plate, be like, thanks, go get us another one. Like, you ain't really doing nothing. So I'm not waiting for the game to tell me if I'm good or not. When I done worked with big stars like Dave East, Nelly, Jill Scott, like I have records in vaults that probably will never come out due to business and politics, but these things that I have. So like, I'm like, forget that. I'm not gonna wait anymore. So I'm just gonna start from ground zero. I already know what this rap shit's gonna come with. Niggas not gonna listen at first because I'm not trendy or doing anything that's lit. I know what this comes with. So I just keep my head down, just working. I'm still doing that.
Fire, bro.
Like,
yeah, and that's like
100%.
That's like how the game is now. Like, it's different. Like I was telling you, like when we talk about like how rappers came up, like, bro, we was going to Toads. Like, niggas had to do a full leg 32 city tour, bro, just to make bread. Like, now, it wasn't no one hit and get viral.
No.
You know what I mean? That shit didn't really exist back then. It was like, you get a buzz.
Niggas working on mixtapes. Niggas was touring mixtapes.
Yeah, they were touring off mixtapes. They wasn't even touring off albums.
Nah, that's crazy.
They didn't have albums touring off albums. And then when you talk about, like, social media, like me and you was talking about it, like, Wiz was really the first nigga to really do like the day-to-day vlogs. Like, bro, everybody, I was telling him, like,
we was locked in every week.
We literally, it would be like 6 of us. And niggas would be like, yo, Wiz just dropped a new shit. Because this was when YouTube, like, watching vlogs and shit, it wasn't popping yet. So, like, for a rapper that's like building and
he's smoking all that, he's,
you know what I mean? Like, and he's showing you the behind the scenes. Like, that's
in the studio.
Like I was telling you, imagine if like Lil Baby had a day-to-day.
Like,
everybody tapping into
on some raw shit, not no scripted,
right?
Like, him really doing, him living his life. Yeah, that's how Wiz was doing.
That's fire.
On the tour bus, off the tour bus,
all that,
rest stop food, all that.
That's
like,
fire.
Wiz was really like the first person to do that. And then now, obviously, you see like there's a ton of artists that do, you know, regular vlogs or weekly vlogs,
but it's not in his style though.
Yeah,
his style, like the way he did it, still hasn't been touched. Because people are still too cool.
Yeah,
like, you know,
a lot of artists now are too cool.
They're
gonna butter it up, or they're gonna like stage it or script it. You know what I mean? Where it makes them look cool.
Because you showed me like 10 or 15 minutes of it, and that shit's crazy. Thing like, because that looks like, not to say similar shit like to now, but like, it's very raw. You can tell, like, there was a guy genuinely just recording. Yeah. Whatever was going on.
Keep the camera rolling.
Exactly.
Keep the camera rolling.
Wiz was like the first nigga to just be like, nah, I'ma just hire the cameraman and just have that nigga have the camera on all the time. Where now, like, that's like the label may give you a videographer.
Yeah, exactly.
Feel me? Like,
or
when
they
the
may call
label
a freelance one that they know that they've been doing work for them.
That's true.
They say, oh, we just signed this artist. We doing vlogs. We doing something new. We need you with him. Blah blah blah.
Damn.
Like, and like, you know what I'm saying? That it was him, our Future.
Future was doing that.
Yeah. Tyler Creator, he was doing that.
It was. I want to say probably like within the time, but not exactly. But it was probably a little bit after.
A couple years maybe.
And that's not even. Probably like a year after.
And that's when them niggas was still in school.
They was still in school,
because
bro.
like if you ask Amber, because his girlfriend, I say his girlfriend, my girlfriend, his sister went to school with Tyler. She grew up with Tyler. So like she was telling me stories about how them niggas used to leave school and just turn the camera on.
That's how they really are.
And like they literally would just like go like to In-N-Out and like skate in the parking lot and just
do dumb
film
shit.
it. Yeah, just do dumb shit and film it. And like everybody would be like going in on him like, yo, bro, what is you doing, this and that? But the whole time then he was getting content before content was a thing.
Was a thing like, all right, so basically like a PR person now would be like, oh, we need content, da 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 da. They was doing that before it was a standard. It was just some shit that they wanted the world to see, because not everyone is from where they from. Yeah, and they kids. They just doing some shit.
They're doing kid shit.
Yeah, they doing kid shit. They making music.
And YouTube was like the only way for you to really get video content.
That's it.
Because back then we was on Facebook and Twitter.
Yep.
Like videos on Facebook was corny.
Very.
That's when everything was like pictures. Even when Instagram first started, it was all about pictures. It was never about video.
Wasn't none
like
of that.
Video content, like being like how like everything now, TikTok, Snapchat, everything. That's more like newer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like early 2000s, like it was just pictures. If you posted a picture, like that was it. You didn't have to say nothing. People didn't have to hear you talk, nothing. But like now, obviously, you want video content. You want to see the person talk, see what they're doing.
All the social media is moving towards video.
Yeah, like live streaming, Twitch, all that shit we be talking about now. Like that's more like your generation versus ours, where like we was going on Facebook just to see what Wiz posted a picture of today. Yeah. Or what like Currency posted, or like Wale. That's how we knew what sneakers was coming out.
But Twitch is nothing but a Ustream. Remember Ustream back in the day?
Yeah, so we had Ustream where that was basically like Twitch.
Damn, the Twitch before Twitch.
Yeah, like that was like Twitch, the Twitch before Twitch. And to be honest, like,
and Skype too.
Yeah, Skype.
I remember Skype. Yeah. I remember a little bit of Skype.
Yep.
Skype, it'll be like 10 niggas on this shit, and like everybody be in front of their webcam, just like bullshit.
Yeah, So a lot of what's going on now, we caught wind of the first generation. We're the first generation of that, more so, so to speak.
And we didn't really know what was going on.
We
like
didn't.
Like when we was in high school, like this is like early 2000s, like high school, like 06 to 2010. Like video and all that shit and like content and going viral, like that wasn't like nothing, bro.
Like it's like from 06, from when we was in high school, from 06 to 2010, that's like, to me, that's just like a time warp, because from 06, things by the time 2008 came, the world was totally different by the time 08 came.
Damn.
Like, and then when 2010 came, 2 years after that, then it's like the music, the
everything changed fast.
Because back then it was more about like memories. Like he remembers, like I remember what niggas was on. You know what I mean? Like now you would probably have to, like, I'm pretty sure you know like certain memories with certain people you was hanging out with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you don't need a picture or a video. You were there, you have that moment.
You experienced it.
That's how everything was for us.
Yeah.
Like field trips.
Like
going to get
sneakers,
sneakers, parties, like going to Toads. Like when we went to Toads, we saw everybody's first tour. We saw Mac Miller Kids tour. That was his first tour ever. We saw Wiz Khalifa Cushion OJ tour.
Big Sean when he did Finding the Famous 3.
All those artists, this was their first tour ever. We saw all of them. They all came through Toads. So it was
wild.
like it was like different.
And also too, we were seniors in high school when J. Cole came to Southern and Wale was opening up.
Him and Wale came to Southern, and me and Peas went and literally wore our copper foams and got him signed.
Yep, I remember that. Yep,
that's wild.
And that was like
the foams up, signed.
And the thing is, you think about that, we was so quick to get him signed. We wasn't thinking let's get a picture.
Nah, it wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even like
that wasn't for that back then. No,
it wasn't about that.
It wasn't about that.
It was about like, I met my favorite artist and he signed my shoes.
And this is the proof.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
And this is the proof.
So like me telling you that, like nowadays niggas would be like, oh, that's cap.
Yeah.
But like me and Peas, we were there, so we know. And like our friends, like everybody's seen us, like, nah, like bro really went to the concert and got his shit signed.
I was on the left side of the stage, I was on the right side where it was lit at. Niggas held their phones up, grabbed them.
Damn, that's crazy.
And like I said, this was when like Kicks on Fire, everything was popping, so like you would see like you would see like Wiz or Wale or any type of artist, obviously the shoes coming out like 4, 5, 6 months later. Like now you'll see an artist post some shoes and they come out within like a couple weeks. Wale was wearing shoes that wasn't coming out for like 6 months.
Sometimes a year.
Yeah, sometimes a year. So you'll see certain shit, and then like I said, it wasn't no sneakers app, it wasn't none of that. It was hard to keep track. So you had to wait. All you had was the picture of like, oh, remember the nigga wore these?
Yep.
And then you had to wait till Kicks on Fire, somebody actually uploaded them with the release date and everything.
And honestly, bro, that's probably one of the reasons why nowadays, I mean, sneakers has been it's been relatively, but it's not like what it used to, because nowadays, like you go on TikTok and you'll see like a TikToker be like, look at these shoes coming out the next 6, 7 months from now. And it's like, damn, like all you can see everything coming out, everyone's gonna be on it by then. Versus back then with you guys, it was like
it was only certain people that had it.
Yeah.
You had to be there, yeah.
But you know what though? Wale was slick for this. He had a lot of his shoes that he was wearing, he had already from when he was working at a sneaker store. Yeah. So a lot of them shits was old that he kept fresh. And he was just wearing them in like, you know, interviews, on stage, like. But of course he would get new shit. But a lot of the fire that we was seeing in the beginning of it, that was his shit from when he personally buying,
like Tiffany Dunks and all
like
that.
That's like he spent for that.
Like your generation, you probably wouldn't know. Like you used to have to go get Dunks at Journeys.
Yeah, that
like
wasn't
Journeys and Spencer's was the thing.
That's it.
Like that's where you would get that type of stuff. Like
rarely you was not seeing them in Foot Locker.
They wasn't in Foot Locker. Like you had to go to Journeys
like
to
a skate shop.
Yeah, you had to go to a skate shop to get skate shoes. That's the only place you can get them. They used to have a spot downtown right there by
Enclave.
Apple Store. Yeah,
Enclave.
It was called Enclave. They was the only people with Dunks. You go in there, it was literally Dunks and like SBs and like skateboards.
And shit.
Yeah,
skateboards. That's it.
That's it. And clothes.
That's wild.
Keep it a buck. Like it was really no black people going in there.
It really wasn't.
We was going in there because we kind of knew what was going on. You were ahead of the curve
with certain shit
we knew what was up. So we would be spinning a bag in there. We'll, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this
we'll go in there and get, like, dunks was $60, bro. So imagine getting out of school, like, I went to school downtown, and, like, he went to Cross, but, like I used to tell you, downtown was, like, the meetup spot. It was a meeting spot for all So, like, everybody. After, it didn't matter, you went to Career, Hampton High, everybody would get on the bus and meet, like, downtown at, like, 3 o'clock. And you'll see the homies from Cross, the homies from Hill House, everybody was downtown. And then you had Urban Outfitters, you had Enclave, you had Sports Park, you had Expressions if you wanted to walk to Fairhaven for real. Yeah. Like, you had everything right there, and then everybody would hit the Subway on the corner. This was before the Chipotle was there. Yep. Like, before Chipotle was there. The Chipotle wasn't even there, bro. It was just the Subway was right there.
That's wild.
And, like, that was, like, the wave. And like I said, it's only, none of that was recorded. Imagine if we was doing content and recording back then.
Imagine all this shit like y'all like lived through.
The kids recorded. After us started recording.
So the generation after
us, they started recording stuff after us.
So like 2010 to like 2014, that's when they started recording.
That's when they started. But from 06 to 2010, that's us. It's all memories, and you had to be there, and
maybe a few pictures. Maybe like you'll have some pictures.
A few.
You just had to be there.
It's if someone out the crew was lucky that had a digital camera, it was lit. Yeah, it was lit. Nah, for real, it wasn't no phones.
When it was pictures back then, like, you know how like people would take selfies now. It wasn't selfies.
Nah,
it'd be like, oh, bro, taking a picture. Everybody getting in.
Everybody getting in it.
It'd be like 40 people in the picture.
Nobody's taking a picture by themselves.
Yeah,
everybody jumping in it
because the picture was like a rarity. Back then, it was
a moment. You want to capture
a moment. Oh, you taking a picture? Because like obviously, like you watching movies and you watch like that was when like pictures and stuff was cool.
Exactly.
So everybody wanted to be in the picture or whatever.
That's fine.
Then it's like now when you look back, it's like damn, we was deep. Like you know what I'm saying. That's just how our mind was.
That's crazy.
We wasn't thinking no none of that. It was just taking a pic. Oh this nigga taking a picture. Everybody rushing this picture. You be mad as fuck. Like damn, I wanted this picture by myself. Like.
And it was different because everybody was like cool from all the schools.
Everybody was
so
cool.
Like you was corny. Like remember when you first started going to high school? I'm like, nah, bro, you need to go to such and such parties, or I'd be like, you need to go to this prom over here. Remember I used to tell you. I'm like, nah, bro, you gotta go to. I went to Cross's prom. I didn't go to Cross, bro. I went to co-op. So it was like corny to just go to your prom. It was like, nah, I know niggas at Hill House. I'm gonna go to Hill House prom. You know what I mean? Like that was like the wave because like you knew people. Like I used to go to Career basketball games because Mike and Pease was at Career. I didn't go to Career. You know what I mean? That's how you like met people from different schools and interact because it wasn't really no social media.
The community was like deeper.
Yeah,
it was
honestly
more together.
To keep it real, like as far as like everything for me, like what put everything together for me as far as people knowing me was sports. That because really like being like basketball and football, like that was my shit. So it's just like niggas knew me from sports. Like James, he'll tell you like, you know what I'm saying, to come to the Cross games and shit like that, like being there deep, like you know what I'm saying. So that was really my shit. Like sports was really my shit.
What's your favorite sport?
Damn, I can't even.
Your number one. I put you on the spot.
They put me on the spot.
Yeah,
basketball.
But
when I transitioned over to football, See, I started playing football late.
Okay.
So I started playing football when I moved to Connecticut.
Okay, so when you were like what, that 14, 15?
Yeah, I was all like from 14 and down, I was all basketball.
Oh, okay.
All basketball. My older brother went to school and played football for 4 years. Word. You know what I'm saying? So I was strictly basketball, but when I got here, I was able to play football. So I was like, fuck it, like, you know what I'm saying, I started playing football and I started to get better at football. I was actually, to keep it real, I'm better in football than I am in basketball. Like it's like neck and neck, but I'm like the edge is football.
The progression, you kind of progress a bit more.
Yeah, because it was just something about football, like, you know, as far as like obviously like, you know, the fast speed, intensity, the hitting, but it's also like the unity and as far as like trusting like your team. Yeah, because like, even because, you know, football is 11 on 11. Like basketball, you could take over a game with 2-3 players.
Oh yeah.
But you're football. You're literally dependent on your next man.
Everyone had their own.
Back then, basketball you could take over by yourself.
Yeah. I was being nice about it, but I'm just, you could take over a whole thing by yourself.
Your Jordans, your Kobe's, those were one man teams.
Exactly.
Then LeBron era came at the beginning of his era. He was taking over by himself, and then it became more of a passive, share the ball. You need a couple niggas to win type shit. Like that's when it switched over to that.
But also though, this is when the game started shifting though. You got to remember LeBron came in 03.
Yeah.
By the time 06 came, he was passive like a month. Like he was still his thing, but you started to see what he's doing now.
Yeah.
Like
LeBron came in right when like one man dominant teams was like ending.
He was at the end of that.
Like
2003.
right when like the sharing the ball and the shooting started to pick up.
That's what people don't. That's what people don't realize, or they understand. Like the one man show shit kind of stopped when he came.
Was that around like the Spurs time period, like Duncan?
Yeah, that was on the end of it.
The end of it. Okay,
that was like on the end of it.
Okay, I was thinking. Okay,
that's his team. So
that was on the end of it. But me and him talk about basketball all the time because obviously his era is LeBron.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't get to. You saw like the later end of he didn't see number 8 Kobe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Growing up for me, I only seen on TV 24 Kobe.
Okay.
At the end of it.
Not even 24 when he first switched.
No.
Because 24 when he first switched, he still went and got 2.
Yeah. Like when Shaq was there, right? He was 24 when Shaq was there.
No. Shaq was already gone.
He was already gone. He was well gone.
24 was when Powell.
Yeah.
Powell Gasol. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the version of, I've never seen Jordan, but that was the version of Kobe I'd seen. And then honestly, like he said, LeBron was like my generation was like my player.
Yeah,
like, I seen
for
him.
sure. But also too, like even with LeBron, like I remember because LeBron, he was the first kid ever to have his team on ESPN. So I was watching him
coming out of high school.
I was watching LeBron back in 2001. I'm in 4th grade.
Damn.
I'm watching him in high school.
He was that good to where that's when they first, like now you could catch ESPN, like the top high schools. You could catch
he was the first to do that.
Yeah, LeBron was like, when LeBron came on the scene, it was like, nah, he's in high school. We need to watch him.
Yeah. And then that's when Sebastian Telfair and that's when all the other, then that's when ESPN started focusing on high school kids.
Word.
But before LeBron, they wasn't focusing on.
It was just college.
It was just college and NBA stuff.
That's crazy.
Like and when he came, he was that much of a force that they started, like he said, started paying attention to him. And then once they started televising his game, because his high school team was the first ever team to have to be televised on ESPN.
Yeah.
Damn.
So like I was watching him back then when they was talking about this kid named LeBron. I was like, who is that? Like, and then I always see him in a Slam magazine.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he that nice to be on the cover? He's in high school? Then when I seen him play, I was like, oh.
He's like that.
Okay, he's like that.
Because like even when like Kobe came out of high school, KG came out of high school, they probably got like one magazine cover.
If that.
If that. LeBron came like, and he was like so hyped and so good. He had multiple magazine covers, ESPN games.
He had a Nike deal before he left college, before he left high school.
Yeah,
really?
Before he graduated, he had a Nike deal.
Nike. He was already wearing Nike.
He was already with Nike. They already had a contract. They already had a lifetime contract waiting.
Who do you think like top 5 NBA players all time?
Ooh, this is a fight.
Yeah.
I don't even like answering these questions because
top 5 all time is very hard.
Yeah.
Give me top 3.
Damn, that's even worse. That's even worse. Oh man, I'm gonna give you. Okay,
you don't have to rank them in a particular order.
I'm gonna give
give me 3.
I'm gonna give you the 3 that did it for me.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna give you the 3, and I'm going classic. You know what I'm saying? Shaq. That's my guy. That's actually my favorite player of all time. Shaq is my favorite. Shaq is my favorite player of all time.
Word.
Jordan, because of the history, nostalgia, and on top of that, I seen but also with Jordan, like I actually seen him play. I was small, but I seen him at the second leg of the Bulls and all of the Wizards.
Damn.
So as far as like his 5th championship, his fourth, 5th championship. I was still young, but I was
still
watching,
seen him on TV.
Yeah, still watching. I was able to still talk. Like, hey, that's Michael Jordan. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Jordan is number 2, and then number 3, AI. And how his story alone, forget what he did in the league. His story alone,
his swag, everything.
His story, he not even supposed to be in the NBA. He not even supposed to be successful.
Like, first of all, AI he was way better at football.
He was better at football than basketball.
And also too, he's supposed to and also with the charges that he had caught when he was younger due to that bowling alley fight. Like you know what I'm saying, if you ever seen his story, like he wasn't even supposed to be in the league.
Yeah, he was supposed to go to jail. AI got in trouble before everything happened.
Before in high school.
Damn.
Like basketball and everything was him getting bailed out, and then he basically ended up being nice as fuck.
But what's crazy is that he couldn't even play his senior season. He was in jail.
Yeah.
So he got locked up his junior right. Like, so I want to say right after they won the state championship, like he got in trouble.
And that's why, like, if you watch his retirement, he like salutes John Thompson from Georgetown.
He saved him
because he literally was in jail or like right out of jail. And he gave him that was the only scholarship offer that he
Nobody
got.
wanted. And he had scholarships from everywhere before he went to jail. But as soon as he went to jail, gone. John Thompson's the only one that they gave him a shot.
Damn.
He looked at him like a father for that.
That's crazy.
It's the only one they gave him a shot.
That's a 33 though.
That's because they all did different things. For me personally, like as far as like weaponized and revolutionized the game on different tiers and standards, like Jordan, like the shoes, like the confidence, the swag, like all of that. Like AI brought the streets, like the real street side, like I'm in your face with it. And then Shaq is just dominant. Yeah. Like it's just dominance all the way around. So you can't lose with
him down low.
Either with all three of them, you can't lose. Yeah, so it's like those guys did it for me, and a sprinkle of others, but those guys did it for me.
That's a fire 3.
Yeah. Shit, I don't want to cut the party short, but we gonna wrap it.
Yes, sir.
I gotta pee. Let everybody know where they can find you at, bro, and all your social media and everything like that.
Yo, once again, this is Pyrolucain, Pyrolucain, and you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. Never Get Comfortable out now. That's What She Say, the video out now. Nautical Expansion, the new single out now. I'm kicking it.
He's out here
with Flight TV,
Definitely.
Flight Pop, whatever you want to call it. I'm here.
Shit, appreciate you, bro. This is the Flight Show. We out.